You ever wonder what makes a product great? The kind that just works perfectly? Well, it's not just luck. There's this powerful idea behind the stuff we rely on every single day, a concept that completely changed the game for how businesses operate. So let's get into it and explore this quality revolution. I mean, we've all been there, right? You buy a new phone and it's flawless for years. Then you get some other gadget and it feels like it breaks the second you look at it. That gap, that feeling of reliability versus pure frustration, it doesn't happen by accident. It's all about a very deliberate approach to quality. All right, so to really understand the revolution, we first got to look at how things used to be done. And for a long, long time, the way companies thought about quality was, well, completely backwards. For decades, this was pretty much the picture of quality control. You just make a ton of stuff, and then, right at the very end of the assembly line, some poor soul's job is to inspect everything and pick out the broken ones. It was all about finding the defects after the product was already finished. And here's the key takeaway. The big problem? This whole system was about detection, not prevention. I mean, think about it for a second. All that time, all those materials, all that effort had already been wasted making something that was flawed from the start. It was super inefficient, crazy expensive, and it never actually fixed what was causing the problems in the first place. But then, a new idea started to take hold. A philosophy that basically flipped that old model completely on its head. It totally transformed how the world's best companies think about making things. It's called Total Quality Management, or TQM for short. Okay, so what exactly is this game-changing idea? TQM might sound like a bunch of corporate buzzwords, but the concept at its heart is actually really simple and incredibly powerful. At its core, TQM is a philosophy that gets everybody in on the action. It's not just one department's problem anymore. The whole organization, every single person, works together in this constant effort to improve quality. And not just for the heck of it, but to ultimately make you, the customer, happy. And if you just break down the name, it tells you everything you need to know. Total. That means everybody, from the CEO down to the person packing the boxes. Quality. That's the goal, a relentless pursuit of excellence. And management. That's the leadership that has to steer the ship and empower this massive cultural change. And look, this isn't just some vague, feel-good idea. TQM is actually built on a set of really clear, actionable principles that all work together. These are the pillars holding the whole thing up. It all starts with focusing on the customer. But to do that right, you need everyone involved. You need a culture that is always trying to get better, and you've got to treat your suppliers like they're on your team, not your enemies. Of course, none of that happens without strong leaders and a way to actually measure if you're getting better. This really gets to the heart of that total employee involvement. In a culture like this, quality isn't just the job of the quality control department tucked away in a corner office. No way. It's part of everyone's job description. It becomes a shared mission. And this way of thinking, it doesn't just stop at the company's front door. You start treating your suppliers like teammates, working with them to improve the parts they send you. And inside the company, everyone is always asking, okay, how can we do this just a little bit better? It's a never-ending cycle of improvement. So now that we kind of get the two different philosophies, let's put them side by side, because this is where the real power of shifting from detection to prevention just becomes so obvious. Just look at this comparison. It's night and day, right? The focus shifts from finding mistakes to preventing them. Responsibility goes from one single department to everybody. Problems get solved by teams on the ground, not just by managers in meetings. And this is huge. Quality goes from being some afterthought to a top priority, right up there with cost. And when you make that fundamental change, when you make quality a top priority, something pretty amazing happens. It sets off this powerful, positive chain reaction that just ripples through the entire business. This is the magic formula right here. It's beautiful. When you focus on making higher quality stuff from the start, you naturally get more productive because you're not wasting time and money fixing mistakes. That, in turn, lowers your costs. And what happens when you have better products at a lower cost? You become way, way more competitive. It all starts with quality. So, in the end, TQM wasn't just a new process or a business fad. It was a complete cultural transformation. It shifted the entire mindset of business from reacting to problems to proactively building excellence in from the very beginning. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. It doesn't matter if you're writing code, helping customers, or even creating art. How could this idea of total quality, where everyone's involved, everyone's preventing errors, and everyone's constantly improving, how could that change the way you approach your own work? Something to think about.